Welcome to another week of Do the Good Stuff with a Monday yoga class. We are going to start in child's pose, so you can bring your knees as wide as your mat and your toes to touch, or you can have the thighs coming together if you want. So if you guys want to start there, we're just going to have a brief meditation before we begin. Before we do that, if you are live, if you wouldn't mind just quickly putting a little comment saying you're here, we'd love to kind of see the community growing together. Okay, so just as you're in this child's pose, any posture with your arms, if you want to reach them out, or maybe have hands coming together above the head, just like in prayer hands above the skull, or you can have the hands back at the heels, and just take a few full breaths here. Maybe you're jumping into this. If you're watching it later, maybe there's just been a lot going on. Or if you're just waking up and joining us, just good to take a moment to settle into this space. And if you're on the newsletter list for Do the Good Stuff, last week I know that we were talking about balance, external balance versus internal harmony. And I just think that's a really good thing for us to maybe take a moment to focus on. You know, sometimes it might seem like everything around us is kind of aligned, but if we take a pause and notice like what's going on in our mind, in our heart, do we feel this rest in our soul? Do we feel at peace and ease? Because maybe externally it might appear that way, but internally there's just still a lot going on. So I just want that to be our intention for the next 15, 20 minutes as we move. So while you're here, just noticing your breath, start to deepen the breath. Full inhale through the nose, maybe 3 to 4 seconds. And then just an exhale, either out the nose, or if it feels good to release with an open mouth exhale, do that. I just want to read you this from Yoga Journal. It says, when we balance, we align our body's center of gravity with the Earth's gravitational field. Quite literally, we place ourselves in physical equilibrium with a fundamental force of nature. But we can't achieve this harmony by remaining absolutely still. Instead, we must refresh our balance moment after moment. This sustained effort to center and recenter, when successful, brings not only our flesh and bones into balance, but also our nerve impulses, our thoughts, emotions, and our very consciousness. Hence, we feel calm. And so that's the hope with our practice this morning, that it would, as we move through some balancing postures, that we wouldn't just be physically aligning, but even just emotionally, mentally aligning with a sense of peace and calm. And so balance is focusing on alignment and strength and attention. And so I want us to notice what's coming up for us as we move through these postures for the next few minutes. We'll take times to just kind of pause and check in. Take a full deep breath in, exhale it out. And as you inhale, make your way up to table, all fours, shoulders coming over wrists, hips over knees. And we'll just extend the right leg back. So the right toes are pointing down towards the ground. Really spreading the fingers wide, and then press the hands down into the mat, and then find this slight lifting up of the arm bones. Maybe just check back that pinky toe is pointing down, the hip isn't opening, the hip is neutral. And if this feels like enough balance, stay here. Otherwise, let's extend the left arm reaching forward, thumb points up, pinky pointing down. Finding some length in the crown of your head, so the crown of your head is reaching towards the screen here. Long line of energy from the left thumb all the way out through the right heel. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, tap knee to elbow, moving really slow, almost like you're moving through quicksand or mud. And then as you inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. So kind of start to find the rhythm of your own breath as you move through this. Just taking 2 more. And then as you extend, either hold here, or maybe you start to open the left arm to the left and the right leg out to the right. Hold, finding this recentering here. If you have a neighbor behind you, maybe you rest on them. And then as you inhale, come back to neutral. Place the left hand down, right knee down. Maybe just kind of drop the hips side to side for a moment, like you're wagging a tail. Kind of reconnect to your breath. And then coming back to neutral. Extend the left leg out so the heel reaches back. Toes pointing down. Firm up the belly here, so we don't want the gut to kind of be dropping down. Keep that engaged, and as you inhale, reach the right arm out. Right thumb pointing up, right pinky down. Again, crown of your head is reaching forward, this long spine. Full breath in. As you exhale, tap knee to elbow. Again, moving slow, really pause at the bottom of the exhale, crunch it in, and then inhale, extend. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, tap. 2 more, inhale. And then from here, keep it open. And either hold here or right arm moves to the right, left leg to the left, moving slow. Kind of realign moment by moment, finding center again. And then inhale back to center. Place the right hand down, left knee down. Walk the hands slightly forward and then curl the toes, lift the hips high, coming into down dog. Just finding a few full breaths here. Inhale. And maybe open mouth, exhale, side out. Inhale. Open mouth, exhale, side out. From here, right leg lifts up. Kind of stretch that out. As you inhale, shift forward, knee to nose, and then step that right foot between your hands. Before we lift up into crescent, start to draw the right hip back. And then really firm the outer hips in towards the midline. You're on the ball of the back foot. As you inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. So maybe taking a slight bend in the back knee to really drop the tailbone down towards the mat. And then you can keep a slight bend in the knee, or you can start to straighten it up. Softening the shoulders down here. So we're going to start to flow through this first little balance thing. So we're going to root into that front foot. If you want to watch for a moment, we're just going to step up to chair, but with a lifted left heel. And then as you exhale, press it back to crescent. Okay, so we're going to full breath in here. Exhale, chair with a balance. Inhale, crescent. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. And then hold. Bring that left foot down, chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, rise, hands come to the heart. Just taking 3 full breaths, maybe hands come down at your sides, reconnect for a moment. Notice the internal chatter, notice what's coming to the surface. And then we're going to move into eagle. So I want you to root into the left foot. We're going to cross at the knees so the right knee crosses over the left. If you can't fully wrap that foot, so we want to take the right foot and kind of wrap it around the left calf, and then the hips kind of kick to the side, so we want to start to draw them back to center. If you can't do that, have the right toes to the outside of the left ankle like a little kickstand. And then we're going to take the left elbow over the right. If your shoulders feel really tight, just take the hands to the shoulders. Otherwise, fully wrap the palms. Maybe sink in a little further here. Start to move the elbows in line with the shoulders. Just find your breath here. This is where we work on our focus and attention. Notice what comes to the mind, and then we just start to focus on the breath. 2 more full deep breaths. As you inhale, unravel the arms, reach up. We're gonna release that right leg, and then from here, we're gonna extend the right heel out. Couple breaths, really firm the outer hips in. Root into that left foot and find this rising up. As you exhale, hands come to the heart. We're gonna just shift forward into warrior three. So we kind of let that right leg sway back. Right toes pointing down. If you need the hands to come out like wings, do that. Or if you need the fingertips down for balance support, that's also fine. But just 2 more breaths here. As you exhale, bend into the left knee, bring the fingertips down, step back to a runner's lunge. And then we're gonna root into the right hand. Inhale, left arm reaches up. And so really be aware of that right hand. We root down, then we lift up out of the right shoulder. We don't wanna dump the shoulder down so that everything is lifting up. As you inhale, maybe reach the bicep over the ear, fingertips towards the screen. Palm face down. Keep spiraling that right lung up towards center, left lung back. And then inhale, reach that arm back up, frame the foot. Either step right to your down dog or go through your vinyasa, high to low push-up. Find 3 full breaths here if that's in child's pose or down dog, whatever works for you, but just kind of reconnect, recenter. And then from here, left leg lifts. Woo. You're by the wall, careful. And then step forward. So really draw left hip back, come to the ball of the back foot. As you inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Softening the shoulders down. Maybe start to work that left knee over the ankle. 2 more breaths, and then we're gonna flow through that chair to crescent lunge. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, lift forward, right heel stays lifted. Exhale, full breath in. Exhale, inhale. Last one. Hover in this chair, place the right heel down, full breath in. Exhale to rise. 3 breaths in your mountain. Start to slow and steady out the breath. And then we'll come back into that eagle, rooting into the right foot this time. Slight bend in the right knee, cross the left knee over the right, and either left toes are to the outside of the right ankle, or you work that full bind. Again, the hips kind of move to the side, recenter back to front of your mat. This time, right elbow over left. And then you're either here for tight shoulders, or palms come together. And then start to work elbows in line with the shoulders. 3 deep breaths here. Just check in with your heart space, check in with the emotions that are coming up. And then uncross the arms, lift that left leg up, extend the left heel, hug outer hips in, find this slight lifting up. As you exhale, hands come to the heart, and then keeping that left leg straight, see if you can just kind of gently swing it back, coming into warrior. So there could be a sing for a while, maybe arms to airplane. Whew. Moment by moment, recentering. Maybe the fingertips down if you need that support. As you exhale, bring the hands down, bend into the right knee, step that left foot back. Root into the left hand this time, right arm reaches up. reaching up. Turn the palm down towards the ground, reach that bicep over the ear. And then inhale, right arm back up. Exhale, frame the front foot. Stepping back to plank, we're going right to your down dog. Here, come to your knees, child's pose, a couple deep breaths. Recentering. Taking those words with you into your day. Refreshing our balance moment after moment. We not only recenter our flesh and bones, but we're balancing our nerves, our emotions, and our consciousness. And so if you have the time, you can go through that little flow again, maybe just moving breath to movement instead of holding, and just kind of go through it a couple more times if you want, just a little extra workout. But I also encourage you to really notice the internal harmony that's going on. Notice where you need to find more rest in your soul, rest in your mind. Because we are interconnected beings, and so we really want to honor that. That maybe just our physical looks okay, but what's going on inside is also super valuable. Couple more breaths. So thanks for starting your Monday with us if you're watching live. Again, kind of make this your own if you want to